Welcome back to our BHS YouTube channel. Today's class we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful asymmetric neckline top with puff sleeves. Okay, it has this asymmetric neckline, which means one has a shoulder and the other is off shoulder, and it has this adjustable elastic to make it comfortable for the wearer. And then the sleeve also has a puffy sleeve with elastic, just like we have seen here. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. This is something you like to learn. Kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this is a very simple asymmetric neckline blouse. Okay, I have folded my fabric into four because this does not have a zipper for me. You can also put a zipper, but mine is a free blouse. It's not going to be too free, but it's going to be enough for the person to wear it easily without a zipper. So if you want to add a zipper to yours, remember to just fold the back panel by adding 1 inch extra for your zipper. So it's an asymmetric neckline. What I'm going to do is just to draft my normal basic bodies first. So the shoulder that I'm working with is 15 inches, whereby 2 is 7.5. Sorry, this fabric has a lot of print, so I'm just going to try to make sure that the chalk is showing as much as possible. So on that point, I'm going to go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. For the neckline, I'm just going to work with a neckline of 3 inches by 3 inches tentatively. I'm still going to reshape that. Okay, after that you connect your neckline and then you draw your shoulder slope. Okay, so this is my neck cuff and this is my shoulder slope. I tried using a blue chalk as well, but it's not showing well, so it seems this yellow is the best we can get. So from the shoulder line again, I'm going to measure my armhole. My armhole depth is 8.5 inches, which is here, and on that point I'm going to take my bust measurement. The bust is 35 divided by 4 is 8.75. so here I'm going to mark the 8.75, and like I said, it's a free blouse, so I'm going to add like half an inch for ease. If I'm adding half an inch, remember this is folded into 4. If you multiply that by 4, that's going to give me a like 2 inches each ease. So if you want it to be really free, like 4 inches, you can add 1 inch, but I'm just going to do 0.75, and then after that I'm going to add 1.5 inches for my seam allowance. Okay, so on that point now I'll take my curve ruler and then draw out my armhole curve. I'm sure by the time I cut all of this out we'll see it better, but just follow what I'm doing. So this is not going to have any shaping at the waistline, so what I'm going to do is just to go over to the hem. If it's a long top, if it's going to reach your hip line, then you measure your hip measurements on your hem. If it's not going to get to your hip line, this is just, it's not going to be too long, so I'm just going to take down the measurement that I have here. So I have about 11 inches here. That's what I'm going to take down here as well, and then I'm going to make it into a straight line. Then I'm going to cut out this blouse. So with my scissors, I'm going to cut the side first, and then I'll cut my armhole, then the neckline and my shoulder slant. So because this is an asymmetric neckline, you can actually shape it like this. So what you just do is open it up like that. One side is going to have a shoulder while the other side is going to be off shoulder. So on the other side that is going to be off shoulder, so on that armhole from my shoulder, I'm going to come down by 4 to 5 inches, okay, depending on how off you want it to be on that point. So I think I'm just going to stop around 4.5 inches. Okay, so let me use a yellow chalk. So the 4.5 inches is here. So the next thing you want to do is to get a curve, and then you connect from your shoulder here all the way to the 4.5 inches mark, so that you can form your asymmetric neckline. So with my curve, I'm just connecting, and then you make sure that what you're connecting blends very well with your neckline. It's very important. Okay, so again on the here, this is the midpoint. I notched it, so you need to, that should guide you on how you're going to shape it. Okay, remember we already went over 3 inches. You need to determine if your neckline at the midpoint is okay for what you want. If you want it to be low, you can make it into like 5 inches, which means you have to connect in bits. You first connect from your neck to that depth before you link it up to your armhole. But I'm okay with what I have there, so I'm just going to cut it so that we can see it, because you can barely see it as well, and I don't have a pattern paper right now. I would have drafted it on a pattern. So you can see my neckline now. This is what my neckline is looking like. This is the shoulder. This is the part that is off shoulder. So now I'm just going to go ahead and sew it by joining on the shoulder. But before I join, I'm going to use this to cut out my facing for this. So I'll just cut out a facing. You can also use a bias to turn it, but I'm just going to cut a facing for mine. Then after cutting my facing, I'll sew it on the shoulder so that we can work on the sleeve. Okay, so for the sleeve, remember my round sleeve is around 17 inches thereabouts. So I want it to be a little big. Okay, so I'm just going to use 2 of that, which is 34 inches. So I have 17 inches on fold like this. As you can see, this is 17 inches. I think this is around 16 inches, almost 17 inches. And then my sleeve length is 21. So that I can achieve that volume, I'm working with 25 inches. If you have more fabric, you can work with more, so that you can shift it to get that puffiness that you want. So to shape this, what I'm going to do is just to measure around 6 inches down like this, 6 to 7 inches downwards, and then using my free hand, I'm going to connect that to the head of the sleeve. Okay, you can see this is just a freehand sleeve cutting. So we are not going to shape this because the style has like a gathered here. So after gathering it, this is just going to be let loose. So I'll just make sure that everything aligns properly on the side as well. So this is for the full sleeve, and then for the off shoulder sleeve, I have my fabric cut out already as well. So after putting your fabric on fold like this, all you just need to do is to bring one of your bodies, and then you place the armhole area towards the open part, not the folded part. Okay, so I'm placing the right side of my fabric so that we can see it well. So once you arrange it well, make sure they are exactly the same, because you are sewing them together. Just take your scissors and then you cut out the shape that you have. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to just cut out like a band for this to hem it, so that I can create channel for my elastic. Remember, we're going to be sewing an elastic to this. So that is about all you need to do. I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine now. I'm going to join the facing. I'm going to turn the facing for the front first, and then I'm going to join the shoulder. Okay, so I have turned my neckline with my facing. I'm just going to serge the edges. So let me lay it well so that we can see it. So you can see that the neckline now is neatly turned. So, and also I joined my shoulder together. And for the sleeve, I have hemmed it on the lower part for the sleeve with shoulder, and then for the sleeve, for the off shoulder sleeve, I hemmed it on the lower part as well, and then I created a channel for my elastic on the upper part. So now what I'm going to do for the sleeve, from the hem, I'm going to measure 5 inches upward, and then I'll chalk it. Okay, so from my hem here, I'm going to come up by around 5 to 6 inches is fine. Okay, so I think I'm going to do 6 inches. So I'll mark the 6 inches and then chalk it. So after doing that, I'm going to bring in my elastic. Okay, I'm using this tiny elastic, and then I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew. So when you're sewing, when you start sewing like this, you reverse it and make sure you lock your stitch. the next thing you need to do is to drag your elastic, so and before you sew. So now when you drag it and you sew, it will just gather everything for you like this. So I'll go ahead now, place my elastic here where I've chalked, and then I'll sew it, then drag and sew. So I'll do this for the 2 sleeves, and then I'm going to pass another elastic on the upper part of the off shoulder sleeve as well, where I created my channel. Remember, this is bigger than what I took off. I took off about 4.5 inches, which was supposed to be 9 inches, and then I think I have about, okay, I have about 23 inches here. So I need to gather this back to the 9 inches that I need. So I'll do this now and bring it back to show us. Okay, so the elastic is fixed now. You can see that it has successfully gathered all the excess that we have. I just sew it by dragging, so you can see. So now on this upper part as well, I pass my elastic through my casing so that I can have about 4.5 inches of fold, which is what I need. Okay, and this is not going to be too tight because remember it's an elastic, so it can expand to whatever length you want it to expand to. So this is the off shoulder sleeve, and then for the shoulder sleeve you just need to gather it at the hem, and that is all. So now I'll bring my blouse, and then I'm going to sew my sleeve to my blouse. So for the off shoulder, for the full shoulder sleeve, remember the head of the sleeve is also bigger than our armhole. So what I'm going to do is to just pleat or gather this to fit into what I have on my armhole, and then for the half shoulder I'm just going to go ahead and join my sleeve to the armhole that I have on my off shoulder. After that I'm going to join it on the sides and then hem the blouse. So I have gone ahead to join my sleeve. Now you can see the off shoulder sleeve, I have joined it, and this is the part that has shoulder. You can see the pleats that I made there to make it up to my armhole, and then I went ahead to sew it on the side and then hem it. So you just give this a good press now, and then you cut off your excess thread. So this is what the sleeve looks like. You can see the ruffles that we have there, and it's quite voluminous because I doubled my sleeve measurement. So this is the other sleeve as well. You can see that it is equally beautiful. So I'll take this to the mannequin now so that we can see what it looks like. So this is what our blouse looks like. You can see the asymmetric neckline, and like I explained, if you want your neckline to come down more than this, you just make sure you go down at the center front and then you connect it to the shoulder before you connect to the off shoulder part. And this is what the full view looks like. This is the sleeve. You can see how beautiful and puffy the sleeve looks as well. So this is what it looks like. It's a very simple top and it's really beautiful, as we have seen. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section, and the tutorial on how I made this lovely skirt is already uploaded on the channel as well. You may check that out if you want a tutorial on it as well. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.